giving you the real from A to Z surrounding the Dallas
That
Cowboys.
thing do crank, though.
News,
Not that on
updates,
purpose, bro.
rumors, transactions, takes, and more. So strap up, Cowboys Nation, and start your day off with A to Z Sports. Live with Will Steele.
3, 2, 1.
Here we go. Oh, yeah. I got my coffee down. I'm good. I'm straight. Let's go. Good morning. Good people. I'm cutting up already. Welcome to A to Z Sports Live. We streaming live at the Omni, at the Star, and I am your host, Will Skywalker Steele. Boom! Oh, I got some energy today, man. I've got some energy today because camp in Frisco at the Star was unbelievable yesterday. Really good stuff. If you missed it, you can go back and you can check it out on .com's YouTube, on the actual channel. It doesn't matter. It was great. We'll talk about it. I'll give you my key takeaways, my observations, and who was in, who was out, why this particular package has me excited about the future, honestly, of what could happen for 2023. So I got it all, man. We're going to talk about the offense. We're going to talk about the defense. And then, of course, I want to hear from y'all. It's right there. 351-999-3787 is the call-in line, Cowboys Nation. Come on through. Rap with your boy. You could be anywhere. I'm so thankful because you could be anywhere right now, but you're here with me at A to Z in the morning. What's good, Bomb Squad?
Bomb Squad!
Come on, Ron. Don't do that to me, man. Personnel sets, whatever you want to call it. But for real, once we talk about it, I think you'll come away excited too, man. But what's happening, man? How y'all doing? Did y'all check out practice yesterday? Did you keep up with, me, Vach, Law, Boss was out there, BLS, all of the content creators were out there. Did you keep up with us on Twitter? If you haven't, go on there. At Skywalker Still, check us out. It was a very, very good day yesterday from start to finish all the way through the night. Got to give a crazy, huge shout out to Miss Sharice, that is Micah's mother, Miss Sharice, who allowed us to have the access that we were able to have yesterday. That was just, it was amazing. I'm going to just say that. There will be stories that will be told from it, maybe some from today's show. Being able to talk and interact with some of those players down there was big, and it gives us a little bit of insight what's going on mentally with some of them and how they're feeling physically and things like that. But couldn't have been done without Miss Sharice. So drop some fire emojis in the chat for one, Miss Sharice. Please do. Please. Mama Sharice. I told her, tell Micah, you my mom now in Texas, okay? So Mama Sharice in the building. She always supports. And, I'm so thankful and grateful for her. I'm also thankful and grateful for the fans that we met out there. Big A, shout out to Big A. We saw him, Coach Cowboy, or Cam Cowboy? We saw him. We saw a lot of fans that came through camp yesterday, and you guys definitely knew what to do when you saw somebody came up to us and said, yeah. They squabbling now. There was no squabbling going on yesterday. No squabbling was going on. But it was a good camp. There were some good things that happened offensively. There were some things defensively from an individual standpoint that I want to get to as well. Some players that in person, and that's why I wanted to get out there to Oxnard, but now that they're here, you see them moving around, you're like, oh, I see what you're saying now, Coach. I see what you're saying now, man. So we'll talk about all that. And Toxic in the chat said, I need to get Bomb Squad shirts. I do. Y'all know how I feel about the merch thing. I'm so focused on this that I don't think about it, but I probably should, though. I probably should. With that said, let's hit this roundup real quick. Just a couple notes from the roundup that'll lead us into the meat potatoes of the show, Cowboys Nation.
It's time! It's time! It's time! It's time!
Time.
It's time! It is time for...
It's time for the morning roundup. Round 'em up, boys.
Let me talk to you. So who was out there yesterday when we hit the practice field. There was a whole 45 minutes worth of nothing. You know, Jerry Jones did his thing. He sells the team. That's what he does. But when we got out there, who was practicing? Who was suiting up? Well, Ronald Jones, he returned to practice in a limited fashion. He went through team drills, had the pads on, had the helmet and all that stuff. So he went through all of that, but he did not participate. He went through individual drills. He did not participate in team drills. So we'll see if he's working his way back into playing on Saturday. I think it'd be in his best interest, not just for the Cowboys, but for potentially getting on another team. He needs to play, man. Not having any preseason games is not good for his future, period. Matt Waletzko also got back out there in some way, shape, or form. Didn't get a whole lot of reps during team, but, he was available, put it that way. So we'll see if that picks up today. And then tomorrow's a walkthrough, and that'll let us know what's going to happen on Saturday. But it was good to see, those two guys back out there. For Matt's sake, it's been a very up and down camp. It's some good days, all right, some bad days, some okay games, some not so okay games. But the injuries will continue to worry me personally. So in their place, we'll talk about that, what happened yesterday. I tweeted about it. I thought it was interesting. Some of the things we saw going on up front when Big Zach and Tyron Smith were not in that lineup. Nashawn Wright still out. Donovan Wilson obviously still out. And Chuma Edoga is still out as well. So the Cowboys possibly have a chance to get some guys on this roster just by the sheer fact that players are going to either be IR'd, waive injured, they'll get a settlement or what have you, and they'll be able to sneak some other players on, and they'll need to do it for certain positions. One of them might be linebacker. It might be linebacker. So, yesterday during Vacha's show, was Professor O dropped. I guess they were talking to Bell, and they were like, "Hey, he's going to get some reps at linebacker." So here's the kind of nugget that was dropped yesterday when they talked to Marquise Bell, the media that is. Per Calvin Watkins, Dan Quinn called Marquise Bell and said his linebacker duties will see essentially an uptick. He's adding linebacker to his duties. And this is what Marquise Bell had to say. Quote, "Just trying to show my versatility. I don't really know what they want me to do, but he's trying to get involved in more of the demo role, right? The Marvion Overshown role. He says, I've been getting reps in our dime package anyways, so it's pretty normal, but it's just some packages that don't have dime in it. I just got to get used to them and get used to the run fits." Y'all know how I feel about this particular thing. Dime package, big nickel, whatever, overhang, whatever. That's normal. Like he said, we've done this. This is not a big deal for Cowboy safeties to come down and do linebacker things, right? This is the final quote he said. "However, I can help the team is how I see myself. If they need me at linebacker, safety, hybrid, willing to do whatever, just getting more in tune with it and learning gap fits." So he's talking about getting used to run fits, getting used to doing things not in dime, getting used to learning the gap fits. Cowboys play a game in 3 weeks. You see where I'm going with this? The Cowboys play a game, ladies and gentlemen, in 3 weeks. Look, big nickel, big dime, whatever, fine. And I want y'all to understand when I say this, I'm okay with Bell and Dono and Curse and Demo isn't linebacker, but these guys doing those linebacker things. But when it comes to if one of our guys gets hurt, if LVE goes down, if Damone Clark goes down, you are not putting a 205-pound Marquise Bell at linebacker. You know what I'm saying? And for as versatile as DeMarvion Overshown was coming into the league, right? A guy who played safety, All-American safety out of high school, did safety for a few years in Texas, then shifted down to linebacker. This is still a guy who weighed in at the combine at 229 pounds. This is a guy who played at 220 plus. So he's got 20 plus pounds, almost 30 pounds on a guy like Marquise Bell. So he is kind of the modern day linebacker anyway in build, right? You no longer are having guys that are 250 pounds at linebackers. They're floating around 230. So when you say, oh, yeah, he can just do the Demo things. Well, Demo could do a little bit more because he is an actual linebacker. So, look, I love Bell as a strong safety and kind of playing that curse role, what have you. But I'm wondering if they're just trying to see what they can do before they pick up these phones. You feel what I'm saying? Like I just can't see them relying on guys like Bell and Dono to do the linebacker things. And that's what it sounds like Dan Quinn wants to be. Hey, we want you to do a little bit more linebacker things that are not dime packages. And when I hear that, I'm thinking, not that part, but when I hear when they interviewed Marquise Bell coming in from the Rattlers, right? They say, hey, I want to see you do some linebacker stuff. I think that was more so big nickel. I don't think they anticipate him having to be in the middle of the field at times if guys happen to be out, or if they happen to do some LVES type things where they put him down at the defensive end and rush or whatever. So my eyes will be on that. If that's the case, I think Bell needs to play this week. That's another thing that they talk about. He needs to play. He needs to play that role, right? You need to get that on film against another team so you can know what to correct. Because when I hear him talk about just getting more in tune with it, learning the gap fits, I just got to get used to them, get used to the run fits. The Cowboys play a game in 3 weeks. You know what I'm saying? So you get out there week 1 with Daniel Jones, and you get out there week 1 with Saquon Barkley, and we're still trying to learn the run fits. Saquon Barkley can take it to the crib. We've seen him do that to the Cowboys last year. So it's a little, I'm going to be honest with you. You can hear it in my tone. You can hear it. I am a little concerned if they are relying on him to be a linebacker. It's not because I don't like the player. I don't like that specific role for that player right now. But at the end of the day, NDQ, I trust. Miss Queen wants me to turn the volume up on the mic. Let me know if my volume is too low for y'all. I feel like I'm spiking in the red a little bit here. I don't want to blow y'all ears out here. But if my volume's too low, I will turn it up a little bit notch for y'all here. Let me see what y'all saying about this Bell thing. Charles says Bell's a leading tackler. He's asking, is he leading tackler? Probably. I think he had like 10 tackles the other game. So maybe. Your safeties tend to do that. Dono, I think, led the team in tackles last year, didn't he? Or he had like 90-something. It was something like that. Volume's good? All right. Turn my headphones up. Mel said, will he play the Dono role? I think, that role is Dono, Kurz. These guys kind of interchange in that role, but Dono is kind of, to me, that kamikaze. I think he's that guy that can – I personally think he's just as versatile as J-Ron, honestly. There's – the first year when Dono went down, we saw the versatility of J-Ron because he covered extremely well, in man coverage against the tight ends and whatnot. But I think what J-Ron what Dono does that J-Ron isn't as adept with is Dono can cover ground a little bit better if he has to play in the back end. If he has to be a free safety, he can move a little bit better. I think he's more twitchy. And he did some free safety stuff, man. He did some free safety stuff, prior to, DQ getting here. So, I think Dono's extremely versatile. And Bell talked about, hey, I'm trying to show my versatility. He has to. In that room, who else had to show that versatility? Malik Hooker. Malik Hooker had to be a better guy that came down in the box or play that overhang role from time to time. So, yeah, I think all these safeties are going to have to eventually do multitude of things, but I don't think they want to put Bell in the coverage aspect. They want to keep him close to the line of scrimmage. So it's good. All right, appreciate y'all. Let's stick to the defensive side of the ball in my notes. Some of the things that I saw that I wrote down while watching practice. First up, obviously, the Bell situation. He was doing linebacker things in dime, though. What I noticed, a lot of it was dime, but they were probably asking him to do other things as well throughout practice. It's hard to waste certain reps with the ones when you're trying to see what other guys got. And sticking with linebackers, one of the very first plays, and once they start doing team drills, it was the mojo moment, 1st and 10. Brillo, I have it right here. I said Brillo and LVE, by the way. Brillo and LVE, great in coverage earlier in mojo moments, and it's actually flipped. It was LVE. So there was I can't remember who got loose in the back, and it was a whole shot right there, and LVE turned his heads. Y'all gotta hear him when I say this. He put on the Jets and got a nice PBU, just enough to tip the ball for an incomplete pass. Looked over to Voch and said, LVE? All right. Later on in practice, I don't think it was the same series because the next play was a touchdown to Brandon Cooks up the sideline. I mean, look, we'll get to Dak in the offense a little bit. A little bit later on, Dak Prescott rolled out. LVE's playing his zone, and he puts his foot in the ground, and he just beelines to Dak Prescott. And I had to literally double to. This time I did look at Voch and said, yo, now wait a minute now. My eyes are not deceiving me. I have right here LVE flying around. And what I mean by that is they talking about LVE getting leaner and losing weight and whatnot, but I'm not there to see that. We see him trying to pass rush, and it's like, I don't know about all that. But if LVE's in space and he's running, LVE looks way faster, way quicker than I anticipated. And if he can stay healthy, right? If he can stay healthy and he's even more explosive, and it's crazy to say these traits like explosive, fast, quick, twitchy for a guy like LVE, because those are things I would never say about LVE. But he has leaned up. If he's able to at least give you, a dozen or so games like that, and he can stay on that field, we talked about this before. The starting linebackers are not the concern, especially when you got the big guys in front. It's the depth. But Grayson, it literally is what I have in my notes. LVE flying around ? Because I'm still trying to grasp that was LVE out there. So I was impressed with the speed of LVE. And maybe that's him looking in that room and saying, Brillo, Devin Harper, Clark, Marvion Overshown, LVE. Which don't fit in there? What do I have to do to make sure I fit in this room, right? And he's a high IQ guy in general, but you want to make sure you can match that IQ with the physicality. So shouts out to Tuck in the building and Voch. Voch said he can confirm. Yeah, 100%. Tuck said he spoke with the family. He said that he leaned out and has been wanting to be an edge since he's been in Dallas, but was never allowed. I mean, that edge thing still. I'm still not a fan of the edge. Like, I like the fact that he's leaning up, right, and doing linebacker things. Seeing these reps of him, on the line, I'm just like, nah, man. We about 8 years into LVE. No, we ain't 8 years. But we pretty deep into LVE, and he ain't been asked to do it like you said, Tuck. So that to me, you just don't pick that. Unless you Micah, you just don't roll out the bed and become a pass rusher. But if he going to play games in line of scrimmage, do some stunts, I'm all for that. But I don't want to see LVE rushing the passer often. I want to see him doing that to maybe, hey, y'all, look at LVE over here. Meanwhile, Sam Williams, D-Law, Micah Parsons, Osa Digizua, is doing something on the other side, But he looked much more faster out there in that practice. And then Brillo, I said he had a couple plays where his coverage was on display, but he's been playing good in coverage, I think, all preseason and camp. Another one, I have Fowler looks better against the run. There were a lot of plays there for Fowler where he was crashing down. He did it in preseason. He made a big tackle for loss. I think it was against, correct me if I'm wrong, Jacksonville. I think it was Jacksonville. But, Dante Fowler looks much better against the run. I wonder if they brought him into the office too and talked to him about his run defense, or they just said, hey, we're not really asking you to be that, right? Because he was one of the better pass rushers last year. But if you're going to be out there, they took advantage of Dante Fowler last year. When Dante Fowler was out there early in the season and we were dealing with, runs to the edge, runs to the perimeter, he was a guy that you dealt with. But he hit, Hunter Lemke, he hit a bunch of dudes. Now, they really weren't supposed to be hitting like that yesterday at practice, but I think he's taking this run game. He's trying to make sure he stays on this damn roster because you see these other young bulls knocking at the door, right? So I have Fowler look better against the run there. Diggs, man. Voch can confirm this as well. I'm starting to run out of words with him too. He's not quite the Micah Parsons territory where I don't even have to say anything. Micah is Micah, but I wouldn't even waste reps in one-on-ones with Diggs. It is pointless. I promise you it's pointless. This dude is playing chess. This dude is a step ahead. Unless you're throwing up a jump ball, you're saying, hey, in the back of the end zone, and it's 50-50, and sometimes that guy going to come down with it, maybe. But when they were doing their one-on-ones down in the red zone, Diggs didn't lose a single rep. Didn't matter who the quarterback was. Didn't matter who the receiver was. You didn't see Lamb on him too much, but he's just don't do it. Just put somebody else over there. Let these young bucks get some work. Try to get some red zone opportunities because he was shutting Ish down. And in regards to the team drills, they really didn't target him too much. They was targeting Gilmore, but they didn't target him too much in team drills. But I had to note Diggs during those one-on-ones. It was just impressive, man. Just seeing him, his length, his timing, the football IQ of when to get that arm around and hook, right? That's that veteran move where you hook a little bit, get that arm around and swat the ball. It's wild to think he's only in year, was it 4 now? Year 4. He looks like a 10-year pro. He looks like a 10-year pro, straight up. And then my last note on defense, and if you guys got something on your defense you want to talk about, I'll get in the chat. My last note was, y'all, Osa Odigizua is about to snap. He's about to snap, man. I wrote on Twitter, if you have issues at guard, if you have issues at center, Osa Odigizua is going to wreck your line. He just is. Everything has come together for him, and maybe more importantly, because I saw the progression from a technique standpoint last year. He's physically better. He's stronger. He's quicker. And when you put the mental aspect, again, we talk about this a lot, the mental aspect with your physical, or if it's vice versa, right? You come in, you're a physical athlete, a freak, a Sam Williams, but your mental isn't there, your IQ isn't quite there. You'll play slower than you actually are. When you put it all together, though, right? And you got the technique down pat, right? You understand the nuances, hit the watch button, of the game. That's what I mean by figured it out. We were talking about this with Kelvin Joseph. Kelvin Joseph has the physical tools. It's the other things. Can you put that together to catch up with your physical tools? Osa, look, man, I know we said it last year, but there wasn't a Hankins playing next to him all year. There wasn't a Mozzie, and you can feel how you want to feel about playing next year, where at the end of the day, it's going to take multiple dudes to deal with him. If Osa doesn't have at least 5 sacks, 6 sacks, I'd be shocked. I ain't going to say be disappointed because maybe he'll do other things. I'd be shocked. And honestly, if he only has 4 or 5, right, he might be your leading tackler. He might be your leading tackler for loss on the defensive line again. If I'm not mistaken, I believe he led the defensive interior guys, not, Mike Parsons. Interior guys in tackles for loss. Would not shock me if he doubled that. He just looks so much better physically. And then you add everything on top of it, man. My goodness, man. My goodness. Yeah, so those are kind of the things I saw here defensively. I'm going to get to the offensive side here in a second, but I wanted to talk to y'all about that, man. Rico said that boy Osa good. Yes. Osa's a sleeper, man. This could be a year 3 breakout type of season for Osa, which he had a good year last year, y'all. He actually improved from his rookie year last year, statistically, production-wise, all that. But it wasn't to the point where it was like, hey, Pro Bowl, hey, 8, 10 sacks. Wouldn't shock me if he approached the 8-sack situation, or he approached double-digit tackles for loss and fighting for other guys. Sir Lawrence says, so Hankins and Osa starting? Yes. Those will be your starters, and there'll be some rotation. Most surprising standout yesterday, this comes from Drummer Cam. Most surprising standout. For me, I can't fake it, though. I was surprised at how LVE was moving around. I just was. I'm going to get to the offensive side of the ball here in a second, so I don't want to spoil that side too much, but we'll get there. I saw that, Professor O. He said, Professor O said, Scott, thoughts on Gilly? Jesse said he looks like he lost 2 steps. Was it that noticeable? When I saw that tweet from Jesse, like, I'm going to have to bring him on here so he could talk to us about it. I didn't notice that, But he might have been watching maybe when the ball didn't go that way, just keeping his eye on Gilly. Because from my understanding, Jesse was saying when dudes just put their head down and go, he can't run with them in that way, right? So he's got to beat him with his mental. He's got to beat him with his IQ, his technique, his nuances. I'm gonna be honest. I now have to watch that today. I want to see it because I haven't heard that at all. No one has come out and said, "Hey, man, Gilly's lost 2 steps." All I've heard was Gilly out here killing it, So I'm not gonna fake it, Professor. Oh, I didn't notice. Now, did he get beat? Yeah, he got beat yesterday a couple times. 100%. He also made at the very end of practice, he made a good play, but it was in the red zone. But it's something I'm gonna keep my eye on for sure. I didn't notice him just, oh my God, Gilly has lost it. I didn't notice that, but I watch it because I hadn't seen that. Let's wrap to Los real quick, and then we'll switch sides and get to the offense side of the ball. Let me bring you in here, Los. All right, you live, Los. What's up, man?
Good morning, Scott, man. Hope you're having a great morning. Hope you had a good practice out there with watching.
Yeah, it was fun, man.
Cowboys. Man, hey, it's almost that time of the year, man. I can't believe football's already here, but, man, it brings joy in my life when football's back. But let me say this, Scott, real quickly. One thing is about offense and defense is I know the Cowboys, one thing is we have a tendency to kind of start slow, and I have a thing to, maybe think we might start slow this year. But I think that's not important. I think it's important how fundamentally we end the season, because time and again during the end of the season, like, we forget what we implemented in the scheme, or we kind of forget the basics of how we started. And I kind of want to see kind of a flip side. I don't care if we start slow this year, offense and defense, but if we get going and we start getting the fundamentals down and just be ourselves and just be the team we are, man, I think during that time, January and February, when it comes time to playoffs, and I hate to say that, I'm just talking about playoffs right now, but I mean, hey, that's the goal. You got to get in the playoffs in order to at least compete, in order to win the big game. So that's my goal for this year. The Cowboys better find a way to, 1, get inside to compete for the big dance, but 2, find a way to just, don't go to the end of the year, hey, we're this grand team, and just forget who we are. That's just all I want from this year. And I'm sorry I'm talking about this guy, but yeah, that's all.
No. Don't be. This is a great point, and I'm gonna elaborate on it. Appreciate you, Los.
All right, appreciate it.
Yes, sir. Salute. I mean, this is a great point. So, look, I personally want to see consistency, dominance, whatever, throughout the entire season. But I have to understand there may be some growing pains, right? There may be some bumps in the road as they're figuring themselves out. He is not lying. The most important thing for this team is to do something they really haven't done in these 12-5 seasons, and that is finish strong. Not just the last game, but that last month, right? If you go look at 2021, you can say, well, Scott, they won 5-1. Again, what is that buzzword when I talk about this offense and whatnot? Yeah, they beat Washington, they beat New York, they beat Washington again, they beat Philly's third string in 2021. It looked weird. For those that have been here for years, if you guys can remember, I'm not asking you to, but if you can remember, the conversations we were having at the end of the year, what were we saying? We were saying, I mean, yeah, they put up 56. They put up 51. But what happens when we run into a better defense, and those things that have been bothering us against better defenses creep back up? It's one thing to put up 50 on the COVID Washington squad. It's one thing to put up 50 on the I didn't give a damn about that Philadelphia Eagles game at all. That meant nothing to me. What I watched was, it looked weird against New Orleans. Got that dub in Washington, but that looked weird. Arizona, that looked weird. And they lost that game, right? That was really the game, because Arizona, I think, went to the playoffs that game. And what happens? You get into the playoffs, and you were not humming. You need to be humming. So fast forward to 2022, right? The same conversation. I said, hey, we need to make sure that we are on the same page. Everything is clicking going into the playoffs. What happens? Yeah, you beat Tennessee. Didn't look too good, though. You elected to, it looked weird. You elected to run your to run out your starters against Washington. Why? I have no idea, but you elected to do it. 26-6, right? Get into the playoffs. You beat the Buccaneers, and you thought maybe we can carry this momentum over. Problem is, just like the last 4 years, the offense never carried the consistency, in my opinion, especially when you were good team, mediocre team, good team, mediocre team. You might have beat or played well against a good team, and then you play down to your level of competition. And now you can't raise that level of competition to beat a better team. It always looked weird. So we need to finish this season strong, and that's why I personally was like, I love this schedule. Oh, Sky, it's a hard schedule. Look at the last. I love it because that is going to tell me everything I need to know about this team. Everything. Look, don't lie to yourself now, okay? Be real with me. Last year, Cowboys finished 2-2 to end the season. The loss in Jacksonville, the loss in Washington, won against Philly. That was awesome. And then the victory in Tennessee. Be real with yourselves. When you looked at how the Cowboys finished that season, and you looked at how things were being planned for and coached, and you looked at the personnel, did you really look at that and say, hey man, this offense about to go crazy? Ain't no way. I didn't think the offense was gonna go crazy against I still didn't think it was gonna go crazy against the Bucs. I did not think that. And when they did that, it was, oh, this is awesome. Can we carry it over against a team that has our number? And we didn't do it. So I ain't going to fake the funk. I was at a position where, I need to see it because they didn't finish strong. And how many times are we going to do this? 2019, we can go back to 2019. 2020, we're not going to count 2020. 2020, Ben DiNucci, Gilbert, Dalton, no Dak, whatever. 2019, 2021, 2022. Go look at how the Cowboys finished. There is a pattern. There just is, and I ain't like it. So I'm with you, Los. We need to finish strong so the Cowboys can go into these playoffs, knowing that, hey, we could bang with anybody and we can beat anybody. Because they did it, right? Not because that, oh, hey, we gave the Chiefs a run for their money. You lost, right? And I'm talking about 2021, y'all. All right, let's move over to the offensive side of the ball. Offensive notes. My bad for getting on that tangent there. But, yes, as Swain said, man, finish. I can give a damn about number one offense and all. This offense, we're about to talk about it, is going to be good. It's going to be good. I need it to be at its best at the end. Okay? I need it to be at its best at the end. So let's start with the offensive line. We talked about Matt Waletzko being there but not there, halfway participant, halfway crook, whatever, right? Tyron Smith, Zach Martin participated in individual drills. They did not participate in team. And let me tell you something. I was getting PTSD. And it was just like a burden lifted off my chest when I saw Tyron Smith not out there during team. And the reason why I say that is because last year, the same practice is when it happened with Tyron Smith. So I think they're learning a lesson, and they are not playing Tyron Smith, or they didn't play Tyron Smith yesterday. And hopefully they continue to just ease him in. He do not need to be out there. Nonetheless, so with those two guys out, I had this tweet up here because I thought this was, why would they do that? Let me see if I can find this tweet, man. Where'd the music go? Yeah, this is the tweet right here. Bada bing, bada boom. So you hear Bones Fossil, right? Bones Fossil's on the microphone. Ones are up, boom, 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 ones up, let's go. Who comes out there? And if you can't see the tweet, I'll read it for you. Left tackle, Awesome Richards. Right guard, TJ Bass. Twos are up. Right guard, Josh Ball. I think that is interesting. Here's why. Because Josh Ball, coming off of a good game, right? TJ Bass coming off of multiple good games. Whatever. Josh Ball coming off a good game. I thought, hey, man, Josh Ball, he's probably going to make this roster. Yada, yada, yada. Nah, man. Tyron out with Zach out. It wasn't Fournier. It wasn't Hoffman. It wasn't Ball. It was Bass on the right side. And it was Awesome playing left. Now, I did get a chance to speak with Awesome briefly. And I just straight up asked him, hey, are you focusing on one, left tackle? And he was quick to answer, no. So they're still doing some dual things with him. I think they want him to kind of be a swing guy, which it's kind of wild to think, hey, I want you to swing everything. You know what I'm saying? Hey, Rook, a 5th round pick, you're going to be swing everything. But it looks like he's swing left side, though. So, I wonder, and Vach, man, it's something we got to talk about. I wonder if this is a byproduct, and I'm just talking, you know how I do. Things come to my head, and I rap to y'all. Is this a byproduct of Tyler Smith? Is Tyler Smith being able to do guard tackle year one, allowing the staff to say, we can do that with Awesome? Me personally, I love to see him stick at one play. Just stay there. But if they believe it's in him, hey, then let's see what's happening. Let's see what's happening. Come back in, Mel. I got you, bro. I got you. I just want to get through this. So, Awesome Richards at left tackle, TJ Bass at right guard with the ones up. Keep an eye out on what may happen Saturday. That could be telling. That could be telling. All right, what else yesterday? Okay, I have a lot of 21 personnel with Deuce and Tony Pollard, or Deuce and Rico, and using Deuce as the motion man. Pre-snap motion, jet sweeps, read option, family builds, etc. So this is the package that I'm talking about. That could be electric. I know a lot of people didn't like the 21 personnel with TP and Zeke. It statistically, it didn't work out. But Deuce and TP out there with Cooks and Lamb, and I'm about to get to Cooks and Lamb next. Oh, my goodness. Here's what I like. This was kind of it was a bit of I don't want to call it an install period, but you can tell they're clearly were working on their pre-snap motions and the family of plays, right? I saw more versions of, the orbit motion, jet sweep, the pre-snap stuff, little razzle dazzle, and builds off of that in that one session that I saw the entirety of the previous offensive coordinator. Seriously, no joke. And I got excited about it because I think it was me and Vosh were talking about it. We were like, yo, you can build off this. You've got, I think it was one of the tight ends doing that, that weird yo-yo type of situation where they go one way snapping and they come back around and the quarterback can pitch it. The offensive line can look like they run block and pull back and throw. There were so many different builds, so many different versions of this 21 personnel set. Sometimes it wasn't 21. Sometimes it might have just been Kavontae Turpin in there with Brandon Cooks and Michael Gallup or CeeDee Lamb, and you just had one back there, and it was Turpin doing the motion. Maybe it's a standard jet sweep. Maybe it's a read option out of shotgun, the fake. It was just so much off of it. And in my head, I'm like, we ain't really seen a bunch of that in preseason. And I wonder if they're going to save that for the season. And this is why Deuce Vaughn is going to have a package in this. Whether it's run, pass, whatever, he's going to be involved a lot. Just get ready for it. But I was wondering if this is something they're keeping close to the vest. And you probably like, Scott, shut up. Don't tell everybody. Ain't nobody watching the show later. But even if they were, you just can't possibly prepare for it until you see it out there a number of times. Tendencies, what they do when this personnel set is out there, what they do in this down and distance. And even then, this is what's dope. Even then, there is a counter from it. There is a counter from it. And that's what gets me excited because we never saw that. There was a play, it might have worked, and then we usually never do it again, or we didn't have many counters off of it. So I was excited to see that, man. I was excited to see that. Y'all ain't here arguing about Noah Brown? Lamb and Cooks. Listen, y'all, I tweeted another tweet out here. CeeDee Lamb, and I think so. Jesse noticed the same thing I noticed. I have right here. CeeDee Lamb is physically better. He's faster. He's quicker. He's stronger. He did a play in team, and it might have been on .com, where they did one of those, I think it was a jet sweep or pitch behind, whatever. And LVE was coming right, about to tackle him. And I'm like, he's probably going to get him tackled for loss. CeeDee Lamb looked like the Flash, how quick he made LVE miss. And in my head, I'm like, I don't know if LVE would have made that tackle now. And he just, I'm like, yo, wait a minute. CeeDee Lamb is physically better. So we should see CeeDee Lamb getting more yak opportunities like that, right? Jet sweeps and whatnot. The slants, the bubble screen. Put the ball in his hand now, man. Let him work. But here's the thing, too, though. He can route you up now, too. I mean, he was a good route runner last year, but I think he's better. CeeDee Lamb top 5 type of production season is loading. If he doesn't have a top 5 production season, it's because Brandon Cooks is here and he's getting you 1,100, 1,200 yards. Gallup and Tolbert and Ferguson, they're all contributing, and Lamb can't get you 1,500, but he's going to get you 13. He's going to get you 12 and 10, right? But if CeeDee Lamb is going to get spammed, and then the defense has to now, counter that and account for Lamb being a feature, opens up everything. And it opens up things for a guy like Brandon Cooks, who, okay, look, like same thing with LVE. You hear about him losing weight. You hear about him slimming up. You hear about him, being quicker and faster. Then you see it in person, and you're like, oh, okay, I see what you're saying. Brandon Cooks is stupid fast. And he's compact, right? He's about 5'10". So I don't even know how to explain this, man. This gear that he hits, it's like you can physically see, the little speed graphics. If you're a graphic designer, if there's speed. I felt like I saw waves behind Brandon Cooks when he hit the second gear, and he hits the second gear like that. And we had this conversation with Brian Broadus yesterday after practice. We were saying we don't understand why Brandon Cooks' route running didn't get a lot more fanfare. Everybody talks about the speed. What makes his speed impressive is he knows how to use it within his route running, and you have to respect it. And the minute you slip up, the minute you forget, yeah, he a 9-year veteran, but the minute you forget he for real 4.32 type speed, he gone. He leaving you in the dust. Brandon Cooks and CeeDee Lamb together are about to put a fantastic year, bro. A fantastic year. 100%. And then the note here, I'd be remiss if I didn't bring this up, man. Dak Prescott was sharp yesterday. Dak was, I wonder if, I haven't been at Frisco, but I wonder where this ranks among his camp practices, because he was extremely sharp yesterday. This is the play that's been going kind of viral a little bit on this pass, but it was another pass play too that I don't know if it'll be big enough for you guys to see. But, man, he's hitting Lamb, on crosses. He's hitting Ferguson in the end zone. He just dotted up Sean McEwen. Brandon Cooks down the seam. Dak was in freaking tune, man. And usually when it was an incomplete pass, the pass rush got to him, and they can't sack him, right? So Dak is kind of running around waiting for somebody to get open, and he kind of dirts it or just throws it somewhere, or he'll run. He did some running yesterday too. Yeah, Big A. Big A said the throw to McEwen. So here's the throw to McEwen, but let's see how big this can get here. Okay. Here's the throw to McEwen, man, where the seam route to the tight end, man. Dak does. There's not many quarterbacks I see do it better than Dak. There's not, man. And there was this weird thought process a couple years ago where, he can't throw the middle of the field. He didn't get a chance to. I mean, this is really, honestly, this and a stupid option route were about the only routes that we were running towards the middle of the field. And 9 times out of 10, him and Schultz were connecting like this. Plenty. So, just from start to finish, and I know it's going to sound crazy to say finish because I think it was Gilly who had the last play of practice on the goal line, threw it to the right side, and he got the interception. But, I mean, for the most part, 99% of this practice, he was sharp. And if you notice in that clip here, his back foot, also in the other clip, his footwork, I'm big, man. In 2019, after the first couple games, I did a film breakdown on the difference that I think this had a lot to do with John Kitna, but I would love to ask Dak, and I probably should have. I wasn't thinking about that. But the back foot, if you notice, his right foot is twisting and remaining on the ground. You'll see this a lot from quarterbacks when they're trying to put a bunch into it. That foot will lift up, and it'll kind of swing like an open door. And that can result in some inaccuracies sometimes. Sometimes it doesn't matter. You do it so much you can kind of get around it. We saw Cooper Rush do it. He did it to the pass to, I think it was Jalen Tolbert, down the seam. But when you don't lift your foot like that, I think it gives you more strength. Definitely if you got core strength. And the reason why I bring it up, in 2019, the Giants and it was the Miami Dolphins game, you saw the drastic difference. I put it side by side from his rookie to 2018 year and 2019. You saw that foot was constant, just coming up, swinging. It was a gate. And then that year in 2019, which coincides with one of his best passing years and kind of his breakout, you saw that foot kind of remain on the ground, especially on deep balls, and he became what he is now, and that's one of the better passers as opposed to a guy that everybody said couldn't throw the rock. So I would like to kind of see him get that back down pat, and again, obviously, it has to be a clean pocket. And yesterday, it was like that. He was sharp. He was throwing dots. He was throwing darts. And it was just a really good one for Dak Prescott. So, those are my notes from last night. We will be back out there today, or tonight, I should say, another 6 o'clock practice. And then we will be heading over to 105.3. That'll be fun. Me and Vach will be on live with Reg and KG. So let me get into this chat real quick. And we got 1, 2, 3, 4. We got 4 callers. All right. That'll work. Brother L says the McCarthy effect. Yeah. Oh, that's another thing. Just, again, this is getting real into the weeds now. But y'all remember McCarthy talking about, and this is, I don't even think I featured it on the show, but he was talking about run game footwork for quarterbacks. Run game footwork. We never thought about that because we didn't run a West Coast offense. We didn't really build anything around play action. We didn't do anything. Under center was not a thing like that for real. But I'm noticing all the quarterbacks, whether it be Cooper Rush, Dak Prescott, Will Grier, the way they're coming out of the center, right? The way they're handing the ball off. It's a smooth transition, and it's all meant to look the same. Well, Scott, this is football 101. I know. But apparently these things weren't being done previously. You can blame Mike and say, hey, Mike should have been doing this, and screw Kellen Moore, whatever, but these things weren't something they were working on because 9 times out of 10 we was in shotgun. You know what I'm saying? So, but I was keeping my eye on that like, okay, I think I get what they're saying here. They want all of this to look like one more. For instance, go watch Aaron Rodgers. Watch Aaron Rodgers early and watch Aaron Rodgers like in year 3 or 4, what have you, and peep the difference in how he comes out of this. It all looks like a run, and he pulls that thing back out. It's a play action, and we're looking for what? Touchdown, check down, and we got these layers and whatnot baked within this offense. But I'm getting excited about the concepts of this offense, man. When Schottenheimer said we're going to make defenses cover every inch of the field, he wasn't lying. He wasn't lying. There is a lot going on. There might be some horizontal concepts matched or meshed with the vertical concept. People keep saying we're going to see a bunch of hooks. Hooks are in every offense. We ain't going to see. This is what they said about McCarthy when we first got. Oh, y'all thought we had a lot of hooks then. You're going to get a lot of hooks now. I don't believe you. We need more people. I don't believe that. I'm not seeing it. I'm not even seeing it in preseason. Let alone practice. So, Schottenheimer being here, I think is great for Mike. Because I do think there are some concepts, because Schotty comes from a little bit different family of offense, which sounds weird because Coach McCarthy coached under his dad, but Schotty kind of is more of a Air Coryell concept. But he understands West Coast, he understands play calling, he understands all that. So I think they're meshing it a little bit with certain concepts, but the principles, the foundation, the basis, that is West Coast offense. Without a doubt, it's West Coast offense. So I don't expect this offense to go down at all. Maybe they won't be the number one scoring offense. Damn it, they could be number 3. They could be number 5. They could be easily top, 7, 100%. Let's talk to the original OG, B Bird. What's up, man? There we go.
Nothing much. How you doing, Scott?
I am, man. Look, blessed. That's all I can say. Yesterday was something, man.
Yeah. And I'm glad that somebody in the chat cleared it up. I tuned in yesterday. I hadn't tuned in for a while. I saw you in the hotel. I was like, I thought you was in the doghouse. I thought you got kicked out, man. What kind of did, man?
Look, let me tell you something right now. If that were to happen, I have a green screen back here, and it look like I'm in my studio. You know what I mean? I'm gonna put some magic, some AI magic on here. You know?
Yeah. So I was going to comment on something y'all talked about earlier as far as how we finished those years. I think part of it was that I felt some of the same thing. It's because we really had no identity. And when you don't have an identity, then the things that you're doing is not, it can't be replicated. Like, we can't carry this on anywhere. It's just a one-off game that we score 50 points in or 40 points in. It just didn't feel like we had anything that we were grounded in to be able to repeat this. And so there's just a lot of points being scored, but you can't carry those points to the playoffs. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And so it was just like it was like fun, yeah, but it didn't really mean anything at the end of the day.
Yeah, that's a very good point, and I think we will absolutely have an identity. Hell, you heard Brian Schottenheimer talking about it, so.
Yeah, and so one of the things I was going to say, man, is that I've been rocking with you for a few years now, man, and I'm a realist, right? And so I look at things just from a practical standpoint, and just try to look at it, take my emotions out. About this 2023 season, this ain't gonna end in the Super Bowl, Scott. I feel it, man. I mean, this is a year for me, man. I think it is, man. Hey, and I'm talking about realistically speaking, man.
We come from the same cloth, bro. I don't I'm just like you. I don't just come out here and say Super Bowl every year, but this it feels different, B Bird, because it is different so far.
Yes. And the thing about it is, the only thing I think really that can take us off that track is an injury. But that's just something but as we're constructed right now, man, look, we needed we'd have had a number 3 wide receiver last year. We've been all right. We definitely didn't have a number 2. And so now we have Cooks. Not only, you look at OBJ, and Cooks adds another element to this offense that we've been sorely lacking. And I think that speed, and I'm talking about not just a fast guy that can run fast and don't throw in the ball. I'm talking about productivity with speed. It's something, man. And it scares defenses, man. So with OBJ, you wasn't going to be getting that, or some other guys. But with Cooks, man, the value we got for Cooks, then you got Gilmore on the other side. The thing I love about this offseason, which people hadn't heard me talk bad about, is because we actually use this other element called, player acquisition, trade, or free agency. Mm-hmm. And we got veteran guys that can still play. Another thing about those guys, man, is that they're adding to something to the locker room because of their veteran presence.
Yes.
So you have a guy that's like Diggs, you got a guy like CD. They're still young, man. They still need mentorship. And so we got guys in there that have done it in the league on a high level that can mentor these guys. It's only going to help. You even saw that last year when we were flirting with OBJ, and CD was like, yeah, we want him. Why? Because you need that older guy in there that has that experience, man. And so we got that with them, and then we got Mozzie to stop the run. Now I'll tell you this, and I'm gonna get off here. The tough schedule. In years before, man, I go look at our schedule and I'd be like, okay, that's gonna be a tough game. That's gonna be okay. We should be good in that game. You know what, man? With this team, I really don't give a damn what the schedule is. We're gonna play it, and however it comes out, we're gonna be better for it going into the playoffs. I want this team to be tested, man. I want a tough schedule because I think we're built for a tough schedule. And so if nobody on this schedule I'm looking at, I'm saying that, hey, man, that's going to be a tough – yeah, it's going to be a tough game, but we're a tough team. And so with a real coach being in place since Bill Parcells, I think that this team – and that's very underestimated – but this team is set, man, with the personnel, the coaching staff. I think that we're set up, man, to make a deep run, man. And that thing, if everything falls right, it's going to end up in the Super Bowl, Scott. I feel it, man. And that's coming from a realistic standpoint. I ain't telling you nothing about my emotionals or anything like that. I'm just telling you about acquisitions we have, man.
You've been rocking with me from day one, and you've never been, and it's like this in the sense of, hey, every year you call in, you're talking about Super Bowl. That's not you. You're kind of like me. We call it how we see it, and we call it how we feel when we see it. So I know this is something. When I hear B Bird say this means something. I get you, bro.
Yeah, and that'll be it, man. I'm gonna holler at you later. I'm gonna keep listening, man.
Yes, sir. Salute, my guy, B
I
Bird.
appreciate you. Yeah.
look, and there might be people in here that are new. There might be people in here that, it's the Cowboys' year. It feels different. Somebody in the chat said every year feels different. Lies. I don't know if you watch me and Vach's show, but when Vach tells a story about how I was smacking my hand on the dashboard and all that stuff, it's jokes. Like, we have fun or whatever. It's real, but that same energy I had was the same energy I was talking to y'all about last year. I said, look, yeah, man, this feels like it could be a Super Bowl defense, but I don't believe in the offense. I don't believe in the coordinator, and I don't believe that Dak can overcome the personnel, that Dak can overcome Kellen Moore. I don't believe that. You can say, well, that's a Dak problem. Whatever. I don't give a damn. I just don't think that could happen. And I never came on here talking about, hey, before the season, hey, the Cowboys going to win the Super Bowl. Cowboys going to Super Bowl. I said, nah, look, give me some time because I don't believe this offense. I don't trust it. I don't trust it. So, and I've always kind of been, hey, look, everybody goes into the season feeling great about their team. I've always been a guy that said, let me get some games to really get a chance to see the squad. But here's the thing about this team. Back-to-back 12-win seasons. Most of your roster is still intact. Most of your important coaches are intact. Your coordinator is intact. Your head coach is now the play caller. You've added to positions that you needed help with. There is no reason to think that this team cannot, at the very least, repeat what they did last year in the regular season and then continue to improve in the postseason. Everything is right there. The only way you could possibly say, given the data, given what they've done in the offseason, the only way you can possibly say this does not feel different is if you are just so scorned that your mind, your heart, your whatever will not allow any light in. And if that's the case, say that. Because the Cowboys have been moving different, thus it feels different. That is truth. You can say, well, what does that mean, Sky? Does it mean Super Bowl? Possibly. No, we got to get to the season. We got to play games. But you can't tell me you're watching how these guys are moving, the acquisitions they're making, the way they're approaching, the coaching, the schemes, and all this stuff, and you come away with it's the same old Cowboys. Lies. Now, once we get into the season and they lose, or if they lose into the postseason, then you can say get same old Cowboys. But not right now. I don't think they're moving like the same old Cowboys. But if you are scorned, and I'm not talking about rival fans. If you're a rival fan that's in here, I ain't talking to you. I mean, you're going to say what you want to say. But I'm talking about Cowboy fans. If you are scorned, that's fair. I ain't even mad at you. You're scorned. That hurts, right? It's been decades. But they're moving differently. And if you just allow yourself to see that and peep that and look at this team, man, you should feel good. Ain't no way you should be sitting here bummed out. And there's really fans talking about, same old this and that. Well, why watch? Why are you here? What? Real shit. Hold on. Time out. For those that believe, ain't nothing changed. Ain't nothing ever going to change. This season, it don't mean nothing. Why are you here? Why are you watching? Is it to wait for the other shoe to drop so you can come back and say, I told you XYZ. Why are you here? I'm not trying to blow smoke up nobody. Because if you've been here for 3-4 years of me on this show, I keep it a bean about everything. Sometimes it come off hard on a certain player or on the team or whatever. Sometimes it come off like, damn, do Sky believe in the squad? There's just times I don't. There's times I don't, and I tell you that. Believe in the squad because they've done things to allow you to. In closing, it's only right we close this thing out with Queen. What's good, Queen?
Hey, what's going on, Sean?
What's up with you?
Oh, man, I'm just excited about the team. And I feel like as far as our wide receivers, I don't feel like we have a number one. I feel like we have two number ones.
Okay.
That's how I feel about that. Brandon Cook is he's awesome. CD, my diva, I call him. He is awesome. and I am so excited. The only area that I'm kind of worried about a little bit is our O-line. If you can kind of like cut me off the cliff about that when I get off, I'd greatly appreciate it. That's the only thing I'm worried about. I don't want Dak getting hurt because of insufficiencies in our O-line. And that's pretty much all I got. I wanted to just get out there about us having 2 number ones and not just 1 number one. So, you know, this team is on and popping. I got us 15-2 for the season, and I'm only giving 2 because that's that's putting a little bit more realism into it. But I really think we can go 17-0 if we just stuck to the fundamentals and gave 110% like we're supposed to.
Yeah.
So that's all I got. Go Cowboys, and you have a wonderful practice this evening. I'm looking forward to hearing y'all later on.
Thank you, Miss Queen. That might have been the cleanest Miss Queen call in the history of Queen calls. Because I was waiting for. Do I got my button? Oh, I don't got that button. I was waiting for the censor button. I was ready to push it. Appreciate you, Miss Queen. The boss must be around. You know, she at work. You can hear her out there. The boss is 100% around. Offensive line. You said that's your worry. I'm not gonna lie. Look, the starting offensive line. I feel great. Oh, I feel great about it. I feel wonderful. It's the depth. Nothing has changed for me there, unless they go out there and do something. It's the depth. If Tyron go down, if he says ouch, which has happened for the last 8 seasons, you have to make a move. Awesome Richards, and this is something we talked about this a lot yesterday. Me, Vach, the boss, Law, BLS, Aisha, Brian Broadus. We were all having a very, very good conversation about this backup offensive line and potentially making trades and moving guys and doing something for it. And I'm still in that mind frame that I would like to get a quality backup offensive lineman. That does not mean I don't like what Awesome Richards could be, his potential. I want him on his team and continue to develop. This kid has something. You know, he's got to continue to develop, but he has something. As we said, Vach, we watched him, beat up on Fauski. We watched him have great reps against the FSU kid. We watched him do well against the Miami kids. Like in big time games, he's played well. Right? So there's something there for him. I don't know if it's left guard, though, if they move Tyler Smith out there if something happens to Tyron. Backup center, I know Fournier looks better there or whatever, but we ain't got that Connor McGovern. That kind of sucks. Backup tackle, right tackle, right? Like, we might need to go back to the days of backup left tackle, backup right tackle. I'm not in on Willetsko. Right now we get into the depth. I'm not in on Willetsko. I 100% believe this, man. And if I'm wrong, we'll come talk about it. But I do believe they'll be scouring the market when the cuts come down, or they'll potentially make a trade. Can't see it. Can't see him just saying I'm cool with this. Knowing at least McCarthy saying, look, front office. 2020, 2021, 2022. I've dealt with massive injuries up front. Massive. I lost everybody in 2020. What everybody's saying. Tyron Smith is out. I lost Lyle Collins. I lost Zach I lost everybody in 2020. 2021. Snip, snap, snip, snap. Lyle's in. Lyle's out. Tyron's in. Tyron's out. He come back. He ain't the same. 2022. Tyron Smith out most of the year. Terrence Steele goes down. Why not be proactive here, right? Why not say, look, I know this sounds evil to be like, hey, you saying somebody gonna get injured. Well, fool me once, fool me twice, can't get fooled again. I got fooled again in 2022. So I'm not playing around with this, man. Go get quality depth so we can look. And let me say this, and then we can wrap this thing up because we just talking. I'm having a good time talking to y'all, man. Shout out to everybody in here. By the way, you're supposed to do this, right? Hey, make sure y'all subscribe if you like the show. You're supposed to really do that. But if y'all are enjoying the show, please, it's almost 800 of y'all this morning. Make sure y'all hit this like button. But I was watching Good Morning Football this morning. Dan Campbell came on TV and he said something that made me say, I need to have this view. Every team has a hole. It's not going to be perfect. And we want perfection, right? We want perfection because it feels like we close, don't it? You are loaded from a starter standpoint offensively. I think you're loaded, period, defensively. Period, I think you got crazy depth. Linebacker's the only one. But again, no team is perfect. Every team has a hole. And if you tell me, these are the holes, but we're that close to perfection preseason, season or whatever, then damn it, why not try to go for it? Why not try to go for that perfection? Just in case, because it's going to be an imperfect year. Somebody's going to go down. Somebody's not going to live up to the expectations or play well. But knowing that, okay, I got somebody I can trust in the tuck, that's all the world of a difference from a mind standpoint. But Dan is right. Dan is right. Every team has holes. Nobody's perfect. Nobody's perfect. Get into the chat. The Guru, I think Ferguson going to be okay as a starting tight end. We won't miss Schultz. I think you might be underselling that, bro. I think he's going to be much, much better than okay. That's for sure. He just continues to stack, too. Just saw a super chat come in. Let me make sure. I don't know if many went through today, but Dwayne, shout out to DB, Dwayne Brown.
Super chat.
Drop 10 and said, great show as usual. Keep bringing good content to Cowboys Nation, man. Y'all keep doing what y'all doing. I'm bringing this content because y'all always here supporting and giving that feedback. And we really be having talks, don't we? We really be having some conversations here. Let me make sure I ain't forget any of y'all. Oh, shoot. Okay, Tuck drop, man. Tuck, man, you ain't got to send nothing here, Tuck. Come on, man. But I appreciate Tuck. Tuck dropped one.
Super chat.
He said, shout out to y'all being boots on the ground, giving us great coverage. Do you feel TJ Bass is safe for the final 53 or will they get goofy? Appreciate you, man. If y'all don't know who Tuck is, what are you doing? CFO Sports. Follow him on Twitter and obviously on YouTube as well. We're talking about breakdowns. I think Tuck is starting to climb that ladder of, how you got like Vach and you got, I think Foot sometimes does the film breakdown too. He's good with film, period, but Vach does the actual breakdowns and puts everything there. Law used to do it. It's not as much, but I think Tuck is actually climbing that ladder of, hey, if you want to get a film breakdown, like a literal film and breaking all this, you need to go to Tuck too. Do I feel that TJ Bass is safe for the final 53 or will they get goofy? This is how I feel about it. Let me see if I can find it. Because I'm dead serious, man, when I noticed this. Look, man, when he did this. All right. Oh, I don't got my. All right. One's up. Left tackle, Awesome Richards. Right guard, TJ Bass. Why would they do that? so yeah, yo, I think he's safe. I think he's safe. We're gonna find out though. We're gonna find out on Saturday just how safe he is when we get out there. But and I get it. Ball has some reps too. He has some reps with the starters. But I'm bringing him back. Think about it. If you don't bring him back, Brock Hoffman, get out of here. Fourniak's your backup center. I'm not putting him at no guard. So if they get goofy, man, that means one or two things. One thing, they are trading for an interior lineman. They're trading for one. Lamont dropped 5. Appreciate you, Lamont.
Super chat.
Lamont said, yeah. Stand up, nation. Week 1 coming soon. Can't wait. Beat the Giants. Trash. Appreciate you, Lamont. Those are the super chats. Let me make sure I did not forget any more. Refresh. Boom, boom. And we are straight. Yep, we good to go. All right. Let's wrap to y'all in this chat before we wrap it up here, man. well, like I said, we'll be back in there 6 o'clock. So we'll probably head in about 5-ish or what have you. So if you are here today, make sure you holler at us. We'll be watching practice and giving y'all some of the breakdowns. Actually, on 105 The Fan. I don't think we're going to be doing a show tomorrow, traveling back home, but we will be doing a show, I think an hour spot with Reg and KG. So make sure y'all definitely hit up. If y'all want to actually see us, you go on YouTube or Twitch or whatever. But if you want to listen to us, 105 The Fan. Let's see here. Philly ain't got no receiver depth. Hey, look, man, I look at it this way. Whatever they want to do over there, I know we can get busy with them. Tuck said, man, I hope so. Next week I'm going to be stressed a bit. Yeah, this cut down is going to be tough, bro. It's going to be tough. There's going to be a lot of young players that get cut. But, man, when Professor O put the number, sometimes I'm a visual person. Sometimes I got to see something, right? And when he said, hey, there's going to be over 1,100 players hitting the market at once during these cuts, I said, well, shit. Somebody's sneaking through. So I'm definitely going to be holding my breath, though. Chandra said, I want to see man-up defense. This defense is going to be good, man. This defense is going to be good. David believes Bass can be a solid backup. Let me try to find what Ball said here. Who said that? This is why I need a producer in my ear. But hey, man, read this comment. Two Broke says, Sky, I think the O-line can't be or isn't going to be good or even great this year. Then it just needs to be good enough to be able to run our offense, to be able to reach the. So do you think it can be good or even great? Look, man, your starting offensive line is a top 10 unit. It's a top 10 unit. It's all about the depth because we've had to deal with the depth. Because a lot of people say, well, look, man, nobody has depth on the offensive line. Well, that's fine. I'm talking about the Cowboys. The Cowboys need it because the Cowboys have been using their depth for an extended period of time for the last 3 seasons. P. Ficus says, I'm excited to see Biadish's development. He could really be elite. As Vach highlighted years ago, he's always been a great help guy. I thought, and this was a shocker to me, I thought Biadish shut all this shit down last year. I thought with his play, there shouldn't have been any more questioning about Tyler Biadish's importance and his ascension, really. Right? Like, Tyler Biadasz is one of the better centers in the NFC. I know Lepre went to the Pro Bowl and we kind of Pro Bowl Tyler Biadasz. But nah, in real life, Tyler Biadasz is a good-ass center. And I thought he shut all that down last year. Even going into the draft, when we were talking about potential centers, for me, it was like, look, if you ain't getting Linderbaum, I don't want to hear nothing else. There's no need to draft another center. It was Linderbaum or nobody. Because Tyler Biadasz he was improving in 2021, and then he put everything together in 2022. So I don't know if there's anyone questioning Biadasz. I don't know why. I think he's done nothing but trend in the right direction. Jay Recruiter says, I still don't trust Rush with the noodle arm. So he doesn't have a great arm, but there's 2 things I saw earlier about Rush. Somebody said he was like, can Rush push the ball deep? That is not going to be his game. That is not going to be his game. And then somebody else said, well, Rush can thrive in this offense. I think Rush can definitely keep this offense afloat. Last year, the offense was not afloat, but the defense kind of carried that situation. I don't necessarily think you'd see when I say drastic, I promise y'all, man, like, it gets overshadowed because of what the defense was able to do. But the numbers are there. Obviously, the film is there. But the expectations, when the offense is playing bad, it's like, oh, hey, it's Cooper Rush. Nobody cares. And we got the dub. Nobody cares. But the offense, how drastically different it was from a threatening standpoint, from a production standpoint, from an efficiency standpoint, it was night and day. I don't think it'll be night and day. There will be a drop-off, but I don't think it'll be a drastic drop-off. Let me tell you why. I remember Matt Flynn. And I'm not saying this is for everybody because there was a point in time, definitely later on in McCarthy's career in Green Bay, where those backups weren't doing great things. But in the heyday, when Aaron Rodgers couldn't play or whatever, like Matt Flynn was going in there and got paid. Matt Flynn, Cooper Rush is our Matt Flynn, I think. Cooper Rush can come in there. I think he can keep the offense afloat. They'll likely lean on the ground more, quick things, and because of the design, I think we'd be fine. I do. I don't think we're going to be 30-some points a game type of offense or nothing like that, but I think we'll be fine. Now, do I want 10 games of Cooper Rush? No, that's not the case. Because at some point, once you get that film, Philly will happen. Because he doesn't have the arm talent. He doesn't have the mobility. He doesn't have that. So he's 100% relying on what's around him and what's planned for him. Y'all remember that Matt Flynn game? Unbelievable. We was up. How much was we up? And Eddie Lacy, too. Eddie Lacy. All right, that will do it. I think I saw you funny, L. Brother L dropped. He dropped one more. He on my ass about this.
Super chat.
8 more days till the wrestling podcast, guy. Yeah. Audio. I need to start out with audio. Look. So this is going to be a baby step type situation. Y'all probably like, well, damn it, Scott, look at all the things you're doing on YouTube. You don't need to get. Yes, I do. I want to get into a routine and a feel and be comfortable with it. And I honestly don't want to do it by myself. I want to have guests on like every episode. I want to have a guest to talk about wrestling with, man. So, but I'm doing it. It's something I'm looking forward to. Another thing I'm looking forward to for this season. It'll be fun. As you can see, Raw is War. You're not even allowed to say that no more. It's kind of crazy. All right. With that said, let me go ahead and turn this off. Get moving. I will catch y'all, Cowboys Nation, I will catch y'all at the Star if you're there. And then later on, we'll see y'all 105 through the Fan if you're listening or whatnot. And then tomorrow, I think I'm going to be back in the studio, back home. I think so. I think I might be leaving straight after the radio, go back home, and then come back down tomorrow for the last practice, man. With that said, let me go ahead and press this button if I can find it. Nah, thank you, the Guru and Squad. Appreciate y'all. Good stuff. I swear, y'all also are like my coffee, man. Y'all wake me up. Y'all truly do. Good stuff today, man. For real. I'm going to run this back myself. I'll see y'all later. Holla at your boy. We out here. Peace.
Bomb Squad!